And it is time now for us to take a look at our Alaska news for this Monday morning. And yes, it is, in fact, the 6th of February already here in 2017. The Alaska News brought to you today by Inland Petro Service, Inc. at 451-1905. That's 907-451-1905. If you're an Alaskan business, you know the importance of keeping your fuel dispensers working. From piping to tanks to having to know how to fix the mechanisms at 40 below. Hey, there's an awful lot that can go wrong, both inside the dispenser and with the fuel during the winter. Of course, even in the summer, dealing with debris and water removal is no fun at all. That's why you should call Inland Petro Service. From fuel additives to tank monitor systems, line leak tests to third-party inspections, no job is too big or too small. Even point-of-sale installation and service. Above and below, in or out, they do it all. Give them a call at 907-451-1905 or check out their website, inlandpetroservice.com. From Bettles to McCarthy, Northway to Beaver Creek, there's no place too far. Inland Petro Service knows Alaska. Taking a look at our Alaska news for this Monday morning. You, if you are following the Yukon Quest, probably already know that Neff surged ahead in one of his typical pushing hard at the early part. He actually has won before doing that a couple of different times, so we'll keep an eye on him. Explore Fairbanks estimates that in the upcoming February events, I think there are 4 big events here in Fairbanks. We're going to see somewhere in the neighborhood of $340,000 coming directly into the economy in terms of the service areas that the attendees of these events are going to put in. Meanwhile, statewide, it looks like Alaska lost another 9,000 jobs during the third quarter of last year. With Governor Walker seeking President Trump's help in a number of different areas for Alaska, especially when it comes to opening up ANWR to drilling. He has not been very critical of the immigration ban. However, Alaska's bishops did send a letter calling Trump's ban troubling, saying that it violates the longstanding Christian code of helping the stranger. There was another moose killed in Anchorage. I think reported on Friday about how they had found 2 different moose that had been shot in different locations. In this case, 2 10-year-old boys found the moose apparently still alive when they found it had been shot. They went and told their mom, came back and waited several hours for the Alaska Moose Federation to come and pick it up. Turns out that a trooper had shot the moose, apparently because it had been hit by a car or something, and the trooper figured the moose needed to be put down. It just was a significant delay in the time for the Alaska Moose Federation to come and pick up the dying moose. There was another fatal pedestrian collision, this one on the Parks Highway near Wasilla. Somebody attempting to cross the highway where there was no crosswalk got hit by a Jeep. Meanwhile, with all of the downturns in the economy, there's a couple of new apprenticeship programs coming up to help Alaskans who are looking for jobs get some skills in some areas where they might actually be able to find some jobs here in the future, including in healthcare. Always a huge demand for that. Meanwhile, speaking of healthcare, the dog bites that have risen, I think, nearly 1,000 over the last couple of years in the Yukon Kuskokwim Delta is now being considered a public health concern. And so they're investigating that with an online survey to find out how many people have actually been bitten, even if they haven't reported it. And you know the popular Unalaska police blotter got a bit of national attention for its humorous treatment of some of the drunk shenanigans in one of the nation's busiest fishing ports. It has now fallen victim to staffing shortages. They just simply don't have the time to write about all of the funny things that people do when they're drunk. The legislative travel budget apparently has shrunk, but the per diem payments for the Alaska legislature have gone on a tear, an absolute boom in the amount of money being spent on the daily money being given to legislators for time in session. And lastly, there was a very rare occurrence last week where a moose apparently sparked its own avalanche. It got spooked. It ran up into a steep area, got caught in the avalanche and rode the avalanche all the way down. They lost track of it some down, but it does look like the moose did survive the avalanche. Of course, moose are a lot bigger than people, and so the warning to everybody about being out there in avalanche country is to be careful. It's not stable at all. That's what we've got for our Alaska News today. My commentary is going to take on a very sticky issue, what I'm calling the apostasy of the American church. Love to hear your feedback about it. And send me an email anytime, whether you've got a news tip or an idea for commentary, steve@radiofreespeech.com. Of course, when you're there at the website, you can buy a direct subscription, and you'll get the 30-minute version of the news emailed to you. It's audio-only opportunity for you to maybe download it to your iPod and listen to it on the way to work. Give you more news than you'll get anywhere else in Alaska. That's at radiofreespeech.com.